I used to be someone that would rely on everyone else to go and do the things that I wanted to do. I was someone that would put off what I actually wanted for someone else. And maybe that's selfless, I don't know. But after the summer, I realised that actually I've worked my absolute ass off for the past however many years, and I wasn't actually doing what I wanted to do with my life. I was just at this point where I was stuck and comfortable, not happy, and not doing what I knew I really wanted to do. So I've just come back from spending about 6 weeks over the past 2 months in Dubai on my own, not really knowing many people. I've got a couple of friends out there, but they were working. So a lot of the time that I spent there, I was on my own, in my own thoughts, doing my own thing. And I've learned so much, like so much. And I know a lot of people, when they go and do things on their own, they'll say that they've learned things about themselves. But I truly believe unless you have done it, you can't really understand what these people say. And you might be able to relate it in some way, shape or form to other areas of your life. But I urge you, if you have not gone and spent time on your own, whether it's abroad, in the UK or wherever it is, for a decent amount of time, whether that's a couple of days, a couple of weeks, however long, go and do it. You need to go and do it, because whilst yes, there are points where, I'm not gonna lie, I wanted to come home. I was really lonely at some points. I wouldn't say upset, I was just a bit like, oh my god, here I am on my own, what do I do? But for the majority of the time, I had the best time in weird ways. And I've always been someone that's been like, I'm gonna move to Dubai. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna move to Dubai. I'm gonna get a one-way ticket. Thank God I didn't get a one-way ticket, because I don't think I'm gonna move to Dubai. I don't think the Dubai lifestyle, whatever the Dubai lifestyle is for me at this moment in time in my life. But I'm so glad that I finally, after however many years, actually went. I met my friend Ashley that lives out there, and she moved out there a couple of years ago. And when she first moved out, I was like, right, I'm gonna come out. I'm gonna come out and see you. I'm gonna go on a one-way ticket and hope for the best. And then a year passed and I hadn't been. Got in a relationship, of course. And then that ended. Said I was gonna go. Didn't go. Got in another relationship, of course. And then that finally ended, and I finally stuck to my word. And I went out there, and as I said, it was genuinely one of the best things I've ever done. I needed to do it to realise probably I don't need to be out there permanently, but I'm so glad I did it, and I've learned so much. And I'm going to share what I've learned in this video, because I think you guys listening, you can apply this to other areas of your life. Like, you don't have to go to Dubai, you don't have to go and travel or whatever it is. Like, do whatever you want to do with your life. But I genuinely think that you can take away from what I'm about to say, whether that be in your health and fitness, whether it be in your relationship, your job, whatever it is. So here are my tips. Here are the lessons that I learned when I spent 6 weeks in Dubai on my own over the past 2 months. So lesson number 1, as I've kind of already touched on, you can feel quite lonely. That was something I probably underestimated. Like, I knew I was going there for a long period of time, so I knew that I would be on my own for a long period of time. But I think because we live in this world where you can communicate with anyone at any point, you can go on your phone, you can use an iPad or whatever it is and communicate with people. Well, number 1, I couldn't make any outbound calls or FaceTimes or anything like that. Not entirely sure why I couldn't, but I couldn't. So if I wanted to actually speak to someone, I would need to Zoom call them, and that was just more effort than just picking up the phone and being able to ring someone. So I didn't have as much social interaction as I would normally have. And number 2, I was 4 hours ahead. So time difference, if anyone knows me, I'm in bed by 8-9 o'clock. And I'm up at like 5. So my day, for a lot of people, all of my friends, for example, in the UK, was so different. So I couldn't like speak to people at the normal times that I would, and I was just very much on my own, which I know is obvious, but I was on my own, totally. And that was hard at some points. Like, at parts of it, I loved it because it was just time for myself. I could do what I want. I definitely worked hard when I was out there. I probably did more work over there than I would do back here. But at the same time, I do think for me, genuinely, it was a blessing in disguise, because over the past sort of year or so, I've got very good at being in my own company. Like, I am happy with that. But when you go from being in relationships where you are constantly communicating with someone, where you're spending time with someone, to then not being with that person and then to literally being on your own in another country, it was a massive, massive shift. But I genuinely think for me, like, even though I felt lonely, it was such a good thing, like such a positive thing, because every time you do that, you learn how to just be happy on your own and how to just be present in your own company. And I really made a conscious effort of not spending loads of time on my phone trying to communicate with my friends and family, because otherwise that just defeats the whole object of me being on my own. Like, totally, because I can just then speak to them whenever I want. So, as I said, it gets lonely, but I genuinely think that's a positive thing. I think that when you spend time on your own, you get used to being on your own. You learn how to be happy on your own. And then, I'm not trying to give relationship advice, by the way, because I'm probably the worst person to speak to about that. But when the time is right to find the right person, Christ's sakes, whenever that will be, then at least I know I'm going to be happy on my own first. At least I know I'm not relying on someone else to make me happy, and I'm actually happy as I am, and then the right person will come into my life. So, very long way of saying that, but number one, it does get lonely, but I think that can be a positive thing. Lesson number two, which ties into lesson number one, was I realised I don't need anyone. That I actually do not need anyone in my life. And I mean partners. I mean, obviously I need my family, obviously I need my friends, but I don't need anyone in my life to make me happy, because everything that I want in my life I can give myself, and I have given myself, and I am fucking proud that I've done that as well. But I just got so caught up in needing someone there to be able to do stuff with, but I don't need that. And a lot of my best friends have partners. My two best friends are getting married next year. One of them's got a baby, she's just bought her second house. The other one's getting married, she's in the process of buying a house. Like, I'm obviously so blessed. I'm the luckiest person in the world with my best friends, but it was getting quite hard, shall we say, because I felt like I was behind. I felt like I should be in that place where I've got a partner. I felt like I should have someone there, when I actually realised that I shouldn't. Like, I love my friends, I love their partners, but for me in my life, like, I don't need that. I'm at peace with being on my own. I'm at peace with knowing that everything I want I can give myself. And I'm not trying to turn this into like a relationship advice video, because the same thing can apply when it comes to your relationships at home, like your job, your health and fitness. It's all the same. You can give yourself whatever you want in your life. You truly can. You just have to put in the work. And I think that's what throws a lot of people off, is they think that, okay, yes, it's fine, Rach, yeah, you say you can give yourself everything, but that's a lot of work to put in. And of course it is, but you're going to have to do the work. The people that you see that have got the results that you want didn't just get those results handed to them. They stepped up, they did what they needed to do, they did it on a consistent basis, and that's why they've got the results. So, exact same for you. Like, whatever area it is of your life, take a lesson from my lesson, which is go out there, work hard, and give yourself everything that you want in your life. Anyone else that comes into your life should be an addition. It shouldn't be the thing that you rely on to get the result that you want. Lesson number three from spending a lot of time on my own was you learn so much about yourself. Like, I feel like I know myself so much better than I did 2 months ago. And I know that might sound like a bit of a silly thing to say, because obviously you are yourself. You spend the most time with yourself. But again, until you're in an environment where you are genuinely on your own, you wake up on your own, you don't know people. I knew a few friends out there that I spent in total probably 4 or 5 days with, and I've been out there for 6 weeks in total. So it was a lot of time to get to know myself again, and I worked out what actually makes me happy, what I enjoy doing, what I want from life. I had a conversation with my business mentor when I was out there, and I was feeling like a little bit lost of, okay, where do I want to take Level Up? Where do I want to go? What's my vision for life? And I went to a coffee shop one day, phone away, do not disturb, and just brainstormed the hell out of where I actually want to go with my life. And of course, these things will change all the time. You're always going to have new ideas. You're always going to change your path that you are going on. But if you don't have a vision, like, surely you're just going through life, just hoping for the best. I needed to know, like, what my direction is, and I am someone that if I don't have that in place, I will struggle, because I'll just feel like I'm going through the motions for the sake of going through the motions. Like, I need to have something there. So if you're feeling lost right now, if you're feeling like you actually need something in place that you can aim for, if you feel like you need to know, like, where you're going to be in a year, 5 years, 10 years, like, have you actually worked it out? Have you actually written it down? Have you actually spent some time on your own trying to plan that out? Because if you haven't, then you really should, like, really, really should. And when you do that, don't play it safe. I say this to my clients all the time when we ask them, okay, what is that next thing we're aiming for? You've lost the weight initially, but that's it. Like, what's next? What's actually gonna fulfill you? What's gonna challenge you? What are we gonna push for? And if they come back to us with a goal that is half-hearted, average, we will challenge them on that, because unless you actually take a risk, unless you actually play the big game, you will always get small results. You'll always end up in the same position, just going through life, just playing it easy. But we only get one chance here. We're only here once, so why wouldn't you aim bigger? So if you, as I said, if you have not got like a vision or a plan for where you want to be, spend some time working it out. It's honestly one of the most powerful things I've done, because I know now that when I'm waking up each day, when I'm filming this, when I'm talking to my clients, there is a purpose, there's a reason why I'm doing that. There's a bigger motive behind it. So work it out if you haven't done already. That's lesson number 3. Lesson number 4 was I learned to appreciate my life so much more. Like, so much more. And I don't know if it's like a UK thing, but we moan a fucking lot about stuff. We moan so much about the pettiest things, and then we become so ungrateful for actually what we've got in our lives. When I was like out there, a lot of the time, I was wanting to come home, because it made me realise how lucky I am for my family, my friends, my job, my business, like where I am in my life right now. And whilst I want more for myself, I think we can get so caught up in actually not appreciating where we are right now. Think back to maybe 5 years ago and ask yourself, like, if you knew 5 years ago that you'd be in this position right now, would you be happy? I know for a fact I'd be over the bloody moon. Like, I would be so proud of myself. I'd be so excited to get there. And yet when I was in this moment, before I went to Dubai, I was just feeling a bit flat. Like, even when I was at the airport, it didn't really feel real. Whereas when I actually took the time to go, Rach, you've just gone to Dubai, like, you've booked that 24 hours after a breakup and you've just fucked off. That is pretty good going, right? So being able to actually do the things that you have always said that you wanted to do, learn to appreciate that. Learn to actually be in the moment, be present, and think to yourself, wow, I'm here, like, this is where I should be. And I don't want this to be like a preachy video, but I do think that we are so guilty of forgetting that. We just get so caught up in not being where we want to be that we forget where we are right now. So whilst you're chasing more, whilst you want more for your life, which I think is amazing, don't forget to appreciate the moment that you're in right now. Lesson number 5 is most of the things that we are scared of doing just come from the stories that we tell ourselves. If we've not done something before, whilst yes, it might make us a bit anxious, we might not know what to expect. Like, how can you say you're scared of it if you've not actually done it? If you've not actually immersed yourself in that experience? I remember sitting at the airport and I was petrified, and then I had to, like, again, pinch myself and be like, Rach, what the fuck is wrong with you? You're just getting on a plane. Yes, you're going to another country, but you don't need to be scared about it. I have this conversation as well with my clients when they say they're worried about going to the gym, and I'm like, why? Why are you worried about going to the gym? A place where thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of people go. And a lot of the time it's based on them being worried about what other people will think of them. But those other people have never said that to you. They've never said they're going to judge you for stepping foot in the gym. They've never said that they're going to be watching you. So the only reason you have those thoughts is because that's the story you tell yourself. And I do sometimes think as well, that's a bit of justification for us. I think we are very good as humans at justifying what we shouldn't do. even though the reasons that we give ourselves aren't really valid reasons. Even though we know that we can do that thing, we still try and justify it to ourselves. We still try and play it down. We still try and tell ourselves, it's okay, like this is the reason, so that's gonna make me feel better, so I won't do it. When actually, you know, if you go to the gym, that you'll be totally fine when you're there. You know that those people you're worried about, thinking that they're watching you and talking about you, isn't actually happening, because they're so focused on what they're doing that they actually don't give a shit what you're doing in there. So next time you step foot in the gym, or whatever area it is in your life, and you're worried, scared, anxious, whatever that feeling is, like, ask yourself why, because 9 times out of 10, that is down to the story that you are telling yourself. It's not down to the facts of actually what is happening there and then. And then the final thing that I learned, which I think is the most important thing, and you can 100% take this away into any area of your life, and that is, we need to do more of the things that scare us, because we only get one chance here. We literally get one life. And I've spent so much time over the past 2 months listening to podcasts, listening to like motivational speakers, and I appreciate, maybe not for some people, but if you don't do it, I definitely recommend that you do. And a lot of the podcasts that I've listened to have one thing in common, and that is just to take chances, take risks, and actually do what's going to make you happy in life, because you don't get this moment again. Like, I will never be this age again on this day. That's scary, right? If you think back to how much time you have wasted, like, I think about that all the time. I've wasted time being in relationships that I don't want to be in, being in situations that don't make me happy, doing jobs. Like, I think back to jobs that I used to have. When I left the industry back in 2018, I went and got an admin job because I thought that's what I should be doing in my life. I thought that would give me some stable income and that would make me happy, when actually it made me miserable as hell. And I ended up rejoining the industry 1.5 years later. But that was because it was the easy option. The risk for me was rejoining the industry, leaving a full-time job, having no income whatsoever, and starting to build a business again. But without that risk, I wouldn't be in this position right now. I wouldn't be able to build a business that transforms hundreds of women's lives every single year. I wouldn't be able to provide a job for someone else, for our amazing Heather, who now works for Level Up. She's traveling the world currently. I wouldn't be able to travel myself. I wouldn't be able to do all the things that I want to do. I wouldn't be able to spend all this time with my niece because I can work my hours that I choose. So again, I'm not saying everyone needs to be an online coach, but if you're playing it safe in any area of your life, you only get one chance here. Literally one chance. You don't get to do this again. You're not going to be reborn. Well, I certainly don't believe in that. So why would you waste it in situations, jobs, places that you're not happy with? And also, why would you waste your health? You don't get another body to live in. You don't get another chance. You can't go to the shop when your car breaks, you take it to the garage, right? And they fix it. You can't do that with your body. So, ladies, please take this final thing away, which is something that I will constantly preach until the day I die. You get one body. You cannot replace this. Do not waste it, and don't waste your life.